All right, so Fast Fusion. We finally got our hands on this. This is probably the cheapest launch title for the Switch 2. If I'm wrong, please tell me whether or not if I'm mistaken or not. But yeah, it reminds me of those old school games like Wipeout and those, like F-Zero, Wipeout, like really just those old like racing games, those old like futuristic looking racing games. And I'm excited to play this. So we're gonna go feature by feature, and we're gonna check this game out. So let's get to it. All right, so first we got championship mode. There's a bunch of modes here. We got championship mode. You have to start on novice. You have to win. You have to go in third place in each league. We got to win all the cups and get to at least third place to open up the next difficulty level. So here you could buy stages, or you could just play through it and win them however you want. Now you get these three aircrafts or whatever you want to call it, cars, whatever, to start off with, and you can fuse them. We'll do the fusion stuff later on in the game, but I think here I went with the MacGyver, with the MacGyver, MacGyver. I just figured that out. That's funny, but yeah. Now when you get into the race, it's just like typically like any other race. Like you hold the accelerator when it gets down to like 2, and then you can go ahead and race and go crazy. These little coins, they give you coins and they give you boost meter. Some crafts or cars, whatever you're gonna call them, are faster than others. Some have better boost. And then there's also these little platforms that you have to change. It's called changing phase, where you get a little boost. There's orange and blue, so there's a little tiny bit of strategy to it, like when to use your boost, when to switch phases. You can also jump. You can jump off of ramps. I wasn't really good at it at first, but as you see more gameplay, you'll see me getting a little bit better at it. And there's also these obstacles here that get in your way that can totally like just destroy you. You'll just get started. You'll just start back a few paces, just like any other racer, and everybody will kind of zoom ahead of you. But it's an easy game. Like once you get the hang of it, you can really have some fun with it if you're a fan of racing games. I know if you're not a fan of racing games, it can get repetitive really quickly, but in my opinion, there's a bunch of racing games like that. I was just testing out the jumping there. That was my first time like really jumping. But yeah, if you're going too fast and you bump into something, just like in real life, you can blow your whole vehicle up. So you got to be careful of when to use your boost and when to jump. Like your timing has to be perfect. So, or at least good, So like I said, as y'all see through more and more gameplay, you'll see my jumping abilities get a little bit better. So when you finish a race, you get ranked, obviously, and you move on to the next race. You have to come in at least third overall for it to be considered completed. So you can open up the new levels, get more coins, and open up more difficulty settings. All right, so next up we have the fusion shop. I mentioned earlier you can fuse vehicles, hence the name of the title, Fast Fusion. You do have to buy new vehicles as you go along, or you can well, you kind of have to. Yeah, I was right when I first said it. You kind of have to in order to get the best combination. So this first combination, I think I took either Zebra or the MacGyver, and I combined it with something else. Let's see. I ended up buying the Kamagori, and then I fused it with the Zebra. So this creates a brand new vehicle with boosted stats based off the stats that are already there. So this one was actually working for me, and you'll see in the next gameplay how that fares. So there's also multiplayer mode, and in multiplayer mode you can either do split screen or game share. I think you can share the game back. I don't think you can share back to the Switch to the Switch 1, but you can definitely share between another Switch 2. But I didn't really have anybody to play with in the time of making this video, so we didn't do that. I'm just letting you know that it's there and what it does. All right, next up, we got what I think is the most interesting mode and funnest mode and hardest mode is superhero mode. So you have to finish first. You can't crash, and jumping decreases your boost energy, and your boost energy is a shield. So basically, you're very vulnerable. It took me a bunch of tries to pass even one, to finish even one race. You really have to get strategic about how you use your boost because it's also your shield. And you have to be really strategic about when you jump, when you want to sacrifice boost to jump, because jumping can get you pretty far ahead. You definitely have to make sure you hit all of those phase ramps where it boosts you faster, and you got to make sure you hit all of the coins that you could possibly hit. So this was hard. This one had me really sitting there sweating and getting really competitive and shit. Like certain parts, like right here, you have to jump, so you have to sacrifice some shield. There are some optional jumps in some of these levels, but that one right there you had to. So you really there was an optional jump there, but you really want to be careful with when you decide to jump, because next thing you know, somebody's passing you, you don't have any boost to catch up, and next thing you know, you're getting passed by. Like the AI is really good in this. They really compete even at the novice difficulty. They really compete and make it a challenge for you. So I can imagine what it's like on the higher difficulties once you get used to all of the game mechanics and things of that nature. It really did take me a while to finish first. I'll skip forward. So when I finished first, you get prize money for it, and you can use that prize money to fuse your cars, buy new tracks, buy new music tracks. You could buy the music tracks as well, so you could just go through and listen to the soundtrack however you see fit. And yeah, this is by far my favorite mode so far that I've played of this game. All right, next up is my least favorite mode, if you couldn't tell from my Mario Kart video, time attack. So you have to beat the developer's time, and this is not as easy as you think. I looked at that time. I was looking at those time, 3 minutes and 18 seconds, 3 minutes 58 seconds. I was like, oh, I could beat that. I'll be moving in my vehicles, especially the one I fuse, my Camaro. I'll be out in that, or so I thought. So it was actually a lot harder than I actually gave it credit for, but it is another challenge that you can do, and you can put yourself up against, again, like I said, the developers. And who doesn't want to beat the developers at their own game? You can literally beat the developers at their own game. You know, I did this a few times, and I was wondering, like, yo, how did they do that so fast? Like, I know you can't crash. I crashed on every run I tried. So no, the run where I didn't crash, I beat my previous time by like 11 seconds. I did like 420 or something like that. Then I did like 409 or something like that. But yeah, it was more difficult than I actually gave it credit for. The first one I was cruising, I was like, all right, I got this. But you really have to finish each lap in like basically under a minute 20. If you're not doing the lap under a minute 20, you have no shot at beating the developers. So it's all about kind of finding the optimal routes of each track. Once you figure that out, and you figure out where all the phase pads are at and where all the optimal jumps are, and you get all the coins and use your boost effectively. I feel like in this mode, you got to spam the boost. And you miss these logs, like, then you could potentially go crazy and smash the developer's record. I really want to go on YouTube and dig in and see like what people are doing to beat these records that the developers are setting forth. But yeah, time attack, my least favorite mode, but it was still fun. I still had fun, and I was able to beat my own personal record, which wasn't much worse than what the developer did. I was kind of off by like 11 seconds, but yeah, this is fun, definitely fun. All right, so next is the jukebox, where you could spend your hard-earned coins that you got from racing to buy up the new track. So let's say you open up a new track, you like the music to it, you can buy it here. So they get progressively more expensive as you go along, but I think it's worth it. Like the music is fire. I'm not gonna lie. Music is definitely fire. I feel like I could sit there and listen to it and just vibe out and either play this game or just have this in the background and play a whole nother other game and still enjoy it, or just vibe out at the crib and just chill. Like this soundtrack is pretty dope, pretty fast paced, you know, electronic music. And there's some variety in the tracks. They all don't sound the same. Like, you know how you have these like cheaper games, sometimes the soundtrack is not of very high quality. I could tell they took their time with this one. And lastly, we have the options where you could fix the graphical settings. I know Digital Foundry did a video on this, so there's a bunch of modes that you can have ranging between HDR on, HDR off, 4K, 60, you got 1080p 60, you got 30 frames per second in game and the 60 FPS in game, real-time reflections, dynamic shadow, no anti-aliasing, Q matte reflections, 1440p 60. However you want to play the game, pretty much you have it. I feel like this is one of the games where I've seen the most customization for graphical settings that wasn't like a PC game. Like for a console game, this is where I've seen like the most graphical adjustments. But here I switched it to 4K 60, so just to see the difference in performance. And the difference in performance, I honestly, I'm gonna be real, I didn't even notice it. Usually between 1080p and you jumping up to 4K, you could kind of tell a difference, but my eye didn't really pick up too much difference from that. It just, the game ran a little bit. I noticed that the game ran a little bit smoother. The frames were a little bit smoother, I guess because I have higher resolution. But yeah, I didn't really notice like a super crazy graphical change between 1080p, and most people can, to be honest. But me being a gamer since I was a kid, I can tell the differences, and I'm here to say that the difference between the modes are negligible. Like you would have to, if you really want to see the difference and have it explained to you, you'd have to go ahead and watch those Digital Foundry videos, which I would recommend, because they do a very dope in-depth analysis on, you know, the latest and greatest games. And it kind of helps you make your decisions when you're buying these games, because nowadays, you know, money's tight. We're in this economic situation under this administration. I don't want to get too political, but yeah, you know, so you want to make every dollar count, even if it's just for a luxury, you know, entertainment item like a video game. So you want to make sure you're getting the best performance that your dollar can buy. And I feel like no matter what mode you put it on for this game, it's gonna run very smoothly, because honestly, there's not much to it. It's a racing game. You know, it's not much really to it. Most of the focus is on the vehicle anyway, and the tracks. The frames going by so fast, they can get away with, you know, with some lowering the resolution on the background. I forgot what that technique is called when they lower the resolution in the background and they render what's nearest to you in the full resolution that you have it on. I forgot what that's called. One of y'all will correct me in the comments. I'm not like a huge graphical geek, but I do know a little bit about it, you know, being that I've been gaming for so long, and I look at a lot of games. I don't know, I think maybe it's called variable refresh rate or variable frame or something like that, VRR or something like that. I don't know, y'all correct me in the comments. But overall, this game is dope. I would recommend it if you have a Switch 2 and you're getting tired of Mario Kart already, or you know you want something else fresh to play. I would recommend getting this. This is a day I'm making this video a day before Donkey Kong Bonanza comes out, so I would definitely recommend that too. But if you're looking for something new and you don't want to spend a lot of money, you're just looking for a new experience on the Switch 2, I would definitely recommend you get this game. It's worth its price. You're getting what you pay for. There's gonna be some free updates added soon, and we're gonna get free tracks and music and stuff from what I researched. So it's definitely a game worth buying. So, but yeah, y'all let me know how y'all feel down in the comments. All right. I guess I wouldn't call this a review, but if I had to give it a score, I give it a little 7. You know, I get a little 7. It's really nothing wrong with it. It has the features you would expect from a racing game. You know, I give it a little 7. You know, nothing crazy. Nothing mind blowing. It lives up to what it is, and it's dirt cheap, $15. Yeah, but y'all let me know how y'all feel in the comments, all right? So you already know the vibes. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. It's your boy JusticeXFalls, and we out. One.